Okay, our last artwork is a bonus because I mentioned it at the beginning of Romanticism. It's just such a crazy structure, and I wanted you to see it. It's the Royal Pavilion, designed by John Nash. It is located in Brighton, England. The pavilion was designed as a royal pleasure palace on the seaside resort town of Brighton for the Prince Regent George. Here he is, dashing young man. This is extremely flattering portrait of him. I say that because later on he would become extremely obese and just corpulent, just disgusting. Anyways, the Prince Regent, he is the Prince of England, and he is serving as regent or ruler because his dad, George III, well, he's been suffering from depression and combination of things that is referred to as the madness of King George. So his dad's gone mentally unstable, crazy, and he is the regent ruling a young prince, or not so young, but you know what I mean. And he has the entire nation's treasury at his disposal. He's known for his gallivanting and love of party and gambling, and the pavilion was built in the city of Brighton. Brighton at this time is this go-to resort town for everybody, and they love going there in the summer to get away from the pollution and the dampness of London. So on the bright sunny beaches is the Royal Pavilion. It's a combination of architectural styles. It has a little bit of Indian architecture, some Islamic architecture, some Middle Eastern elements definitely going on there. The building not only serves as a pleasure palace, but as a statement to the reign of the English monarchy. At this time, in the early 1800s, the English are fighting Napoleon, but they are also not just fighting Napoleon for their own land, but they're fighting Napoleon for control over their colonies around the world. They have colonies in Africa and in the Middle East and in Asia. And so this pavilion is a mashup of all the English territories, especially at this time. England's growing empire included a massive defeat of the people of India and control over and colonization of India that would last for into the next century. So here, the architecture speaks to this exotic kind of reign of England over the world, and the elements like this distinctive profile of this dome. It's called an onion dome. It's called an onion dome because it's kind of in the shape of an onion. These distinctive elements speak to the power and the majesty of not India or the Middle East, but it applies it to the reigning or the regent. It applies it to George. How does this relate to the Romantic movement? Well, it's romanticizing the exotic, Orientalism. It's taking these elements that have a lot of very specific and important sacred symbolism for people and applying it out of context for, well, their own pleasure. It's appropriation, really. But Romanticism, as in that it's romanticizing the power and the majesty of the prince, of the monarchy, of the British Empire.